You can clap if you want. I like it. I like it. Rocki from the morning show. Dude, how the heck are you?
I'm good to be here. I'm glad to be here. I'm better that I'm here.
We had your co-host here last week or a few weeks ago, and that was a really fun time. We talked about the most overrated foods, and I know y'all talked about that on the air.
Yeah, no, we did, and I can't. I don't have words for the shock hearing that you think pizza's overrated.
Pizza is overrated.
I think it's rated.
Okay, so you think it's mid?
rated.
You think it's mid, or you think it's rated?
No, I think it's rated. I think people put pizza up on a pedestal because it deserves to be put on a pedestal.
Oh,
pizza
man.
is so good.
Okay. Okay, so what do you think is overrated? Since I asked your co-host, I'm going to ask you the same question. What
Hot
food
dogs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know though, man. Like a really good beef hot dog.
It's
the
good.
one where you have no idea what's in the hot dog, like an Oscar Mayer.
Yeah.
Dude, that's trash.
It
Nobody
is,
needs that.
Right.
But like an all beef one?
Well, see that because I eat my hot dogs plain. I don't put anything on them. So the meat is like the thing that
I've never understood people who put relish on hot dogs. Like it is Chicago, they put
drag it through the garden.
Did you?
That's what they say.
No, they don't.
I didn't make that up. They drag it through the garden.
I've never heard that.
You're not missing anything.
But then they also put mustard and relish on that, and that's just weird. That's just weird.
Pickle. I mean,
Yeah,
everything.
pickle. Oh,
everything.
yeah.
It's everything.
If you're gonna have a hot dog, it's ketchup and mustard, or it's chili and cheese. Those are the two options for hot dogs.
Yeah, I like ketchup on a little bit of ketchup on a hot dog.
So you think that's I think the poor hot dogs are overrated. The good hot dogs, I think, can hang with the best. But you're saying all hot dogs in general.
It was just what came out of my mouth at the time. I thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, food, because sandwiches are so good.
Yeah.
And that's like includes so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Lasagna's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every food that I'm thinking of is like food that I want to eat.
Food that you want to eat.
Tapioca pudding. I hate
No.
it.
Tapioca
I hate it.
is
That's
amazing.
overrated.
No.
Okay, that's my answer because you love it so much.
No. That lumpiness in the tapioca is just it's magnificent.
Lumpy. You said it right there.
Exactly. And it just is it sand? Is it little pearls from the ocean? I don't know.
What is it? We don't know.
I love it. Man, well, I'm really genuinely, like I know on air you can say, oh man, I'm so thankful that you decided that you we're like, hey, I'll drop by the podcast and talk with you a little bit. So like legit, cool. I'm really thankful. So kind of the two benchmarks I want to talk with you about is you are in radio.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you live downtown in Springfield.
Yes.
And so talk to me about how you got into radio. I know that's going to be the opening question for so many to you.
Well, I got into radio late. I went to film school in Columbia in Chicago for sound design for film. And then afterwards, I was like, what am I doing? I better go back to acting. That's smarter.
Okay.
And so I was an equity actor in Chicago for a long time.
What is equity actor
It's
mean?
Union.
Okay.
So equity points, and then you get, then once you have enough points, then you're a union actor.
So like Goodwill Hunting in the way back when with Ben and Matt, were they equity actors? Or
they
like,
were
hey,
they were working on their SAG card.
Okay.
So Screen Actors Guild is different from Actors Equity, which is for like stage.
So you have that. You want to be like you have this something within you that you want to be. You wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I was acting since I was a kid.
Really?
And that's what I went to Chicago to go audition for musical theater programs around the country. And my buddy who came with me was like, "I come take a look at Columbia," and then I got into a couple of the schools I auditioned for, but I was like, I would be going to Columbia and I'd be getting like a technical.
Okay.
Like I'd be learning software and like actual technical skills, whereas acting, it's you work on it, and not like studying it, I think, is of utmost importance, but you don't have, anything really to fall back on.
Why do you say studying acting is of the utmost importance?
I think some people think it's like you can just do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can. I don't, in my experience.
Okay.
Some people are probably just naturals at it. I don't know. But I think, studying anything is probably pretty important if you're going to really do it.
So you started going as film and then moved to radio?
And then moved to acting.
Okay, so you film, acting, then radio?
Film, acting, then existential crises for a few years.
Was it during the COVID years?
No, this was before, but I was like, what am I going to do? Because the thing with acting is, I need structure. So, if you have a show and you're making $1,400 a week and it's great, that's awesome. But then it's going to end. And if you don't have anything to fill that gap, then it's like, well, I still have the rent and everything. It was really a hard life for me to balance.
Were you married at the time, or were you?
No, I was solo. And I don't know. I feel like that's almost a different life, like when I think about it. So if I was married then, I don't know what it would have been like. But
it's really hard. I would imagine it's hard to be an actor. Like, I forgot who said it, but basically it's like, if you're going to make that transition, you need to do that when you're really young, because what it requires of you is to be so independent and so flexible that when you're married, oftentimes you really need to. It's nice to have stability in the home where you're like, not like, hey, first year married, gotta go to LA for 3 months, check you later.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, worked for a couple of different places, met my wife in Phoenix, and I worked for American Express.
Okay.
And that was really the caveat that I was making a lot more money than I'm making now.
Okay.
But I saw people in their 60s doing my exact same job, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
At least, I want to love what I do if I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so my wife and
How
I...
long were you working there?
3 years, 2 years. And my wife and I decided to move to the Virgin Islands. I'm half Puerto Rican, and I know Puerto Rico, but we don't speak Spanish.
Okay.
So we were...
I'm Hispanic, and I don't speak Spanish either.
What are you?
I'm Mexican.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Polish and Puerto Rican is like two polar opposites.
I'm Italian and Mexican.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So we moved down there blind, and that's how I fell into radio, actually, was down in the Virgin Islands.
Really? What
Yeah.
was the first gig that got you there?
I started selling mattresses for Ashley Furniture when I first got down there.
Really?
And because it was just like we didn't have jobs, so it was, whatever we could. And so, long story short, started working for them, did a commercial for a sale that we were having. The owner of the radio, one of the groups down there, heard it and said, come work for me. And so I was like, okay, I'll come work for you. The guy who had been doing the morning show there for 25 years had a seizure, passed away. Rest in peace, Dr. Jones. And I started doing his show.
Well, one because I've been on your show, and like the first thing that I noticed is you have this golden voice. I mean, it is a golden voice for radio, bro. Like, have you noted that from? You probably did since you were acting.
No. What? No. Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like some of the best voices I've heard are just super rich and deep, and
that's totally your voice.
I think I put it on a lot. I don't know when I talk. I don't know. I don't think that's it all the time. I try and do a lot of weird things with my voice, and you can use the microphone to really.
Do you do vocal lessons as a radio host?
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Well, when you're saying you're doing different things with your voice, I don't know how much you.
I've taken a lot of vocal lessons for singing and voiceover. I've taken a lot of lessons, but I've never thought about.
So you go from all the way to St. Croix, and then you come up to Springfield. Is that the next transition?
Yeah, and we came up. We loved St. Croix. We were there for 5 years. Came up. My dad has Parkinson's. My mom just retired, taking care of him. My wife's folks are getting older, so we wanted to be back in the Midwest, and so Springfield just happened to be the closest opportunity that worked. For a morning show, and so I moved here, and the first thing that I noticed. Granted, I moved here from the Virgin Islands, and it's like, paradise. It comes with its
I mean hurricanes and stuff.
hurricanes and power issues and
tourism.
all sorts of
I would imagine that can wreck a place.
There's racial, tensions for sure, but everybody 9 out of 10 people were like, "Why did you move here?"
Yeah,
and I was like. I thought I laughed it off for a few times, and then it started really getting frustrating because I was like, "Well, I don't know now." You know what I mean? Like, do you know something?
It's kind of a rude thing to say that, right? Like, they don't mean it rude, but like after over time, you're like, "Dude, like, why do you think I'm not balanced enough to make this decision?" Right. You're basically calling me unbalanced.
Well, and everybody, like, I can think of where I'm from in Minneapolis, like I can say a lot of things. I don't question
why you wear Sam's clothes.
Right. Like, Sam's jeans.
Walmart. Everything's Walmart here.
But it was, I was like, I got a sense that people were not happy with Springfield. And then I kind of started to see that, the dynamics, and working in radio, you get to see kind of behind the scenes a lot, and, the layout of town and the west side versus
what do you mean you get
side.
To see behind the scenes working
just
in radio?
You hear a lot of stuff that I think somebody who's a lot of news stuff and a lot of business dealings that happen and political decisions and
you get to kind of catch one of that
that kind of stuff that maybe not.
I can see that,
but and I was like, okay, so downtown I was staying at the Wyndham, which is boarded up now, but it wasn't boarded up then. And I remember looking across the street and kitty corner. Now there's something going in there. But it was boarded up then. So I feel like there's always been like something boarded up, and I just think it's such a frustrating thing.
That's a horrible tagline for Springfield, but it's so accurate. Something's always boarded up.
Well, yeah, and I don't get it. I don't understand. And you hear a lot of people say they don't want to come downtown, and I mean, there have been so many great businesses that have come and gone since I've been here, and it's like I don't understand that because I live 2 blocks south of the Capitol.
I want to put a pin in that. I want to come right back to that, but I want to go back to your time in radio. And one of the things that like kind of I was thinking about over the weekend when I knew you were coming here was. So we did this show, or y'all talked about how overrated foods, and you put it online, and I had several people text me, and they're like, "Hey, they said Tony Stang doesn't like pizza or whatever," but like 3 or 4 people texted me, right? But I imagine your viewership is pretty large, and here's my question: how do you keep a strong sense of self? Because you need to have a strong sense of self to do what you do. How do you not let it get to be ego-driven?
That's a good question. For me, I think everybody's different. For me, in 2010, I started getting really bad social anxiety. So that's been something that has kept my ego in check for sure. And if I try and look at things from a positive way, and I could be super mad about that, and I could think of the opportunities that I feel like it's taken away from me. But at the same time, I still have been able to be happy and find success and I love what I'm doing, and I'm that to me is good, and still not, have a huge head about it just because I think there's inner almost like an imposter syndrome, you know.
Dude, that is such a real thing.
Oh, for sure. And I think everybody deals with it to an extent, whether
in their
they
own profession. Yeah.
whether they would say they do or not. I think that's a very human feeling. Like, what did I do to? How am I doing this?
I love
you know.
that.
I mean, you
that.
heading up a church. You know.
Oh
it's like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel that all the time. It's like, you know, I feel so ordinary most of the time.
Yeah.
And then the big barometer for me would be is how's my family doing? So like, if my family doesn't hate God, then I feel like, okay, at least I'm not the biggest fraud out there. You know, if they're not like, dude, what are you? Because you hear so many horror stories of pastors being one way in the pulpit, and then in real life they're just jerks.
Yeah.
And they're just like mean and abusive, and it's like, okay, am I kind of the same? Am I the same person behind the pulpit and in life? And actually, that actually works to my detriment a lot of times with more traditional folks, because they do want a more polished version.
Yeah.
But to put on a polished version of myself, I would be my false self would be showing up.
That's what I felt. So it's funny that you say that, because I feel like in radio I was able to be myself. Like when I was wearing a suit every day at American Express, it was a total feeling of I do not belong here.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel comfortable. Yeah. I don't enjoy a lot of the conversations I'm having with people.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, but I also think that the pendulums, you know, I don't think people, at least in my industry, I don't think people are enjoy listening to the hey, you know.
Dude, that's a great clip, by the way. But yeah.
Just as I would think people in, you know, religion would want at this point a more real person. Maybe back in the day, you know, it was like but somebody who's approachable and that they can talk to. I think that's
a really good insight, dude. I think there was this age of I think, you know, now we're getting really deep in the woods. It's good. No, it's good though, because there was this age of modernity and just like everything had to fit in a box, and now we went through that season of post-modernity where it could be whatever you wanted it to be, and so I don't think generationally people have caught up to that. And in the same breath, I think what will happen with AI, that has been a major thought in my world, is like, what does that, do you ever, like, I often think, what does AI, how will that replace, or how will that influence my sphere? Do you guys think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think about AI a lot. Talk about going down.
No, but I mean, this is real life, bro.
AI, man, in every industry. You know what I find interesting? People like AI except in their industry. So like doctors, I have doctors in my family. They're like, AI is trash in medicine, and but they love it in every other aspect. They can do my taxes. Yeah. It's the best. But no, not in. But like, and teachers and everything. Yeah. But like it, you know, it's scary because there are already moves in radio, and radio's just what in content creation that AI is doing stuff that's just insane. I've read people turning to AI as a deity. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've heard
about that.
I've heard it just, you know, people, you know, everything. It's just, there's nothing that it hasn't and won't touch. And I don't know, man.
You know, I would say for my profession, what we found is that for pastoral counseling is that the bots are better. What I guess the studies have shown is the bots are better for counseling because they're not triggered by people's experiences. So if somebody has like a father issue, well, that's going to trigger me because I had a kind of a rocky experience with my father.
Right.
But the bot isn't
it's
bothered
completely
by it.
Not by it.
However, for my profession, AI will never be able to go to a hospital room and represent that somebody took time out of their schedule to go and care.
Yeah.
And I imagine in your profession, AI will never be able to name a feeling that people have originally. They might be able to build upon it once somebody else has said it, but like for you, they wouldn't be able to name a feeling that people might have in Springfield if there were ever a crisis. You, the human voice, would need that. They would build on it.
Well, and I think too, it's like you said, it's not just the counseling, or it's not just the show. In my aspect, it's going out and being at an event with somebody and talking to somebody, and then talking about that on the show, and then maybe they hear that on the show, and how cool is that? Like that kind of thing. Spotify is really AI radio. It's. I mean, in terms of music, but the personality, I think, is a thing. And we're Woodward Community Media. It's in the name. It's
what is that? Woodward Community.
That's the parent company for who I work for.
How many stations do they own?
Radio, they're in Wisconsin and here, and then we also have a lot of digital publications around the country.
Does that mean podcast or
digital publications, like online magazines, online newspapers?
So is there a lot of room, like let's say you are a radio personality for 15, 20 years and you're like, I have done that chapter in this, are there ways to move, to still stay in the same industry but have other roles?
Yeah. Like program director, operations manager, overseeing more of the business aspect of things, which I don't really have interest in. So, I think maybe down the line, whether it is maybe teaching or consulting or something, because I just love this aspect of what I do, and I like,
it comes through on your show.
Well, I hope, and I appreciate you saying that, but I love the partnerships, the people I get to work with, and like doing stuff like this is sick.
Reimagining what you just said about the partnerships, you have a co-host.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I've thought about is how does that work in day to day to have a co-host in sharing decisions for the future of the show? Like, do y'all have a lot of, okay, we need this space to be able to name things without any feelings getting hurt?
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because I've had two different partners at this point in my career, and I think with both it was important to me personally to right off the bat like set the rules, and I always got your back, and I will support what you're saying, and tell me kind of all your funny and weird secrets, and not secrets, stories, like all of the
your
weird
idiosyncrasies.
Things. Like get that all out of the way as much as possible. And then there becomes like a closeness. Like Lacey is so funny. We've been doing this show for like 6 months, but she's like my sister now, sure. And we've known each other for a long time, but we didn't hang out a lot, It was, and now it's like every day you're seeing the same person, and you just kind of figure out the workflow. But I guess I've been really lucky to have two just great people too.
That's amazing, dude. One of the things I've learned about my own self as I've just gotten older is I am not a dictatorial person. That's just like, I'm a very macro manager, but I don't work well with having a co-leader. Like that's just not because of my deficiencies in that I'm very last minute. And number two, if I feel like we need to pivot, I can't like to have to go through to have to sit down and talk about why we need to pivot. That just puts a handcuff on me. So that's just my own. So I'm always impressed when I see other people have co-leadership type of moments. Like I would implode in that. Not because I'm any better or worse. That's just not my.
You know how you
I know
are.
who I am.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I think self-awareness is a huge part of it too.
And it's through a lot of hard experiences that you learn that too. So, so you live here in Springfield. You live downtown in Springfield.
Yes.
You're a successful young professional is what I would say. Why choose to live downtown? You could live anywhere else. Why choose? And I say that because I work downtown, and downtown is not flourishing. And those are my words. I'm not putting those words on you. But like you said, everything's kind of boarded up. And what would inspire you to live downtown?
My wife and I like to walk a lot. We were taken by the charm of downtown. I mean, Capitol Street is beautiful.
So beautiful.
We fell in love with a couple of businesses because when I moved here, initially my work put me up at the Wyndham downtown. So we kind of explored downtown.
Yeah.
And that was like our kind of radius for a while, and fell in love with the place. And we don't have kids, so we rent. We don't need to take up much space.
Right.
So we didn't need a house, and we found a great spot, and we like it because I wish there was more people who walked around.
Yeah.
I walk around a lot, and there aren't a ton of people out, and I think over the years, for whatever reason, a lot of stuff has moved west.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think that we still have to, and there are a lot of people doing it, DSI. A lot of people trying to work on bolstering Springfield.
Yes.
But it's hard, and there's so many different business owners and so many different opinions, and it takes a lot. But I don't know. I don't know the magic answer.
It didn't happen overnight. The decline did not happen overnight, so the solution will not be overnight. It will be a multifaceted solution. Some will be cosmetic, like beautifying our land and kind of maybe more statues, more art. Some of it will be systems, better schools, but pouring into the schools downtown. Some of it will be structural. We only have one. Where do you shop for your groceries? Is it at we only have one grocery store downtown, but we got a lot of liquor stores, and so some of it is structural that we need to address.
Yeah.
But what would you say to young professionals? What would your plea be to say, hey, let's move downtown because it is a good experience?
Well, I think that, first of all, the potential is always there, and there's tons of potential. So you can kind of make your mark. If you live there, if you're down there a lot, you can make your mark. Whether that's just being, a usual at places or having your own place, I don't know. But I think it's important. It's important that people live and try and exist together. And especially now, the more we can do that, the better off I think that will be. I know people love living in the country. I I think that would be cool too, but I like seeing people and saying hi to different people, and I know that weirds some people out, the stranger danger thing, but I enjoy it.
I think one of the phrases you said that I'll probably keep with me is you can leave your mark downtown. There's so much, because the dynamics have shifted, there's so much opportunity for you to leave your mark downtown. And that's almost like an entrepreneurial spirit, but it's also a relational spirit as well. As there's that space where you can be known and you can find community in the spaces downtown. That's really brilliant, dude. I really appreciate you naming that.
Well, so I've always wanted to, I appreciate you saying that. I've always wanted to have, I call it the Norm Complex from Cheers.
Okay.
Where you go in and it's everybody's hey, what's up? That is so easily attainable here.
And you have a bar that you go to where that happens?
More restaurants.
Okay.
But where it's the same servers.
Yeah.
6th Street Cafe, Obed and Isaac's.
Yeah, Obed and Isaac's.
I love that place. When we go to Lulu's, On
Their
9th.
pancakes are out of this world.
Little Saigon.
Yeah.
So it's like you go in and it's just the same faces, and it's like, hey, like that's awesome. You know, that's a good feeling. That's a really good feeling.
Did you grow up with that?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a suburb of Minneapolis, but like I think the Puerto Rican side of my family is very like, hey, you know, arm around each other and, you know.
That community based.
Yeah.
That's really great. Man, as we get you out of here, I thank you for just stopping by and talking shop. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about you. I learned a lot about the radio profession, and I love your comments on downtown. Those were spot on. Last question as we get you out of here. 10 years ago, you've had a lot of different jobs, a lot of different avenues. 10 years ago, what would you define success? How are you defining success today?
Great question.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I think I was just moving to St. Croix, and I feel like the main thing for me was making money. And then St. Croix is cool because you have at a bar usually, or at the beach, wherever, a millionaire sitting next to somebody with no money. And they're sharing a sandwich, or they're talking about life. People don't ask you what you do there. People ask you how you are. You know, and so like I was like, oh, you know, I think it's really important that I surround myself with good people and do something that I like, because even if it's not the most money in the world, I think I'm going to be a lot happier than what I was. And then I found radio, and I mean, that's really, I think, the biggest thing is 10 years ago, I would have been more into money is success. Now it's just kind of people that you have.
Being present in the moment and loving the people in your world. I like that. I like that.
Trying to, it's hard, you know, sometimes.
Some people are just that is like and that's one of the biggest tests of Christianity, is not how frequent you come to church and not how pious you are in front of people. It's, can you love difficult people? Like in those moments, can you love and bless difficult people? And that is a better litmus test for Christianity than if you have the 10 Commandments in a classroom. That's from this pastor.
And AI can't do that.
And dude, no. You just said AI can't love their difficult neighbor.
I don't think so, and for now.
Thanks for dropping by, bro.
Dude, thank you for having me.
All right, man. Boom. Whatever that was. All right. That was really good.